Jo here with another Time for Tea Designs video. Today's video was recorded during our crafting live session on Thursday evening, which is why you can see my little face in the corner and I'm talking really fast. That's because I've sped up this video so that we can do a bit of an edited replay of the card that I created on Thursday evening. So you can see here, at the moment, I'm just working out what we're going to be doing for today's card. I want to do something that's very colourful and spring-like. I want to use my little bunny dies, and I want to use some of my patterned papers, and I want to create my own personalised sentiment using the Anthony's Alpha dies. So I've selected my patterned paper for the background, and that was already cut to size. And then I've selected just some of our green cardstock, the lime zest, and I'm using one of my landscape edge dies to cut out a piece of grass for my bunny to sit on. And now to cut out my bunny. So this is the Bunny Builder die set, and it comes with all of these cute accessories. We've got the carrots there and all of the bits to build our bunny's little face and body. So I've cut out the base using some craft cardstock, and I've cut out two of his little paws. I haven't cut out the feet for this one. I just wanted to use his hands. Do rabbits have hands? And I'm cutting out his face as well. There's two ways that you can cut out his face. You can either cut out those pieces from some coloured cardstock, or you can cut them directly out of your base. And I'll show you how I do that a little bit later. I'm also cutting out all of the other elements. The carrot from some white cardstock, and I had some pink blended onto a background that I've used to cut out the nose, the cheeks and the ears. So I'm using my silica mat here. It's a really handy tool to be able to just store some of those small die cut pieces. They're not going to slide around and they're going to just stay in place in those little areas at the top of my mat. And we're going to do some ink blending onto the white cardstock to create our carrots. So I'm just poking all of those pieces out and then just organising them at the top of my mat so that I can use them later. This is where I'm just going to show you the bits that I've cut out of the face there. And I've got a scrap piece of cardstock, and I'm just going to colour a black splodge with my Copic marker. And I'm going to use that as the background to my bunny's face. This, I think, is easier than trying to add on the separate pieces, but obviously you can do it both ways if that's what you'd like to do. So that's the bunny's face, and now we're going to add those cute little rosy cheeks. So I'm just using some of my liquid glue to pop those in place, and I'll do the same with his tiny little nose. So again, some liquid glue in the centre, and then pop his nose in place. So now he's really starting to come together. He looks super cute. And we can pop in the bits of his ears. So one on each side. And he's really come to life now. And I love the craft coloured cardstock that we've used as our base. To give him a little bit of definition, I am using some tea dye ink. And I'm just using one of our stackable blender brushes to just add that colour around the edge of the body and the edge of his paws. And this will just help them stand out a little bit from each other when I layer those together. Moving on to our carrots, I started with some carved pumpkin. That was quite a light, almost yellowy orange, and I wanted to add a bit more depth, so I used some crackling campfire just to around sort of the base and towards the top there. And I've done that 3 times because we're going to have 3 carrots in our final card. I'm colouring in each of those leaf portions with some Lucky Clover and Twisted Citron, and they will layer together to make the tops of our carrots. Don't forget your bunny's little cottontail. This I've just cut out of some white cardstock, and some liquid glue will just stick that on the back of your base. I'm laying together those carrot pieces. So so the carrot itself comes with a background piece that allows you to layer your other elements on top. This just makes constructing your carrot that little bit easier. And like I say, I've done this 3 times so that we will now have 3 cute carrots that are ready to pop onto our focal point. So I'm just thinking about how I want to arrange these before I stick everything down, and I decided that I did want my little bunny to be holding on to his carrot, and that's why the little paws are separate, so that you can add things into the bunny's paws if you wanted to. And I'm just checking that everything will fit onto my background, because I want to do, like I say, I want to write out the word spring using my alpha dies, and I've picked out 3 colours of cardstock for this, and I'm going to cut out the sentiment hello, which is from our oval scallop nesting dies, and then I've cut out the letters that spell out spring. I've decided that I'd like to add a bit of a drop shadow to that word hello, so I also cut that out of some darker orange, and then I've cut out 2 more layers of the letters for the word spring out of just some white cardstock. And now I can layer all of my elements together. So I'm using some of that liquid glue, again with that needle point applicator there, just helping me get to those fine areas. And then I've used the darker orange in the background as my drop shadow. I'm layering up each of those white pieces of cardstock, and then adding the colour on top. So in the end, we do have 3 layers of cardstock there, creating our own kind of chipboard pieces almost, and a bit of dimension. Doesn't my little bunny look cute? So I've added the carrot there into his paws, and now we can start constructing our card. I've added that piece of green cardstock, a bit of grass at the bottom with some liquid glue, and then trimmed off the edges. Our wide foam roll is perfect for lining the back of your focal panel, so I've added 3 strips of that to the back of that piece there, and now we can start adding our little bunny and his carrots. So I do want to add some dimension here, so I'm going to start with what's going to be in the background, and that is one of our little carrots there, and I've stuck that down with some liquid glue. I've added foam tape to our bunny, and then I'm also going to add some foam tape to the very top of the carrot here, and then some liquid glue at the bottom where that overlaps the bunny's body, and that will just mean that everything lays at the right level. I decided that I did want a bit more dimension to my word hello. It didn't feel like there was quite enough dimension when I compared that to the rest of the dimension that was on our card. So I did cut out 2 more pieces of that hello in the darker cardstock there. And then I've added that to the back of the piece that we'd already put together. And that just means it's a little bit more robust and has a bit more depth to it. And that now can just be added onto our background, again with some liquid glue, so I don't have to try and find some tiny foam adhesive for the back of that. Creating the word spring at the bottom did require a little bit of finagling around, so you're going to see me just messing about here. I have used liquid glue to adhere all of those pieces, and I wanted them to overlap so that they would fit onto the bottom, and I just think that looks really fun and whimsical, and it worked out really well in the end. It was at this point that I felt my background needed a little bit of something extra to fill those gaps, and I found these really cute cloud dies in the Paper Plane Pals stamp set. I just used the dies in that set to cut out the cloud shape and then edged them with some of that tumbled glass Distress Oxide ink. I adhered them with some liquid glue using a combination of 3, just overlapping 2 of them on one side, and I think that really did just finish off that background perfectly. Finally, I'm going to add some white lines and highlights with my Jelly Roll pen. This is something that I really enjoy doing, particularly on cardstock and on my sentiments. I really do think that that again helps to add that little bit of whimsy, gives it a little bit of a comic book feel or a storybook feel, and that again is something that I really enjoy to do. I really hope that you enjoyed today's card and today's video. If you did, it would be great if you could like and subscribe to our channel, and we'll be back again with some more crafting live again really soon. Thank you guys. Bye.